Good evening, Jan. What's so important that we couldn't simply talk on the telephone?
Stop right there, Mr. Barasch. I expect you to call me Mayor Marx, as I am the elected Mayor Jan Howell Marx.
So what's on your mind? What can I do for you?
You can drop out of the race for mayor. There is a growing chance that you are going to beat me, and we can't have that.
That's the point. It's an election, Jan. My focus is to win and bring reform to San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo does not need reform as much as I need to be mayor. You need to back off. It's all about me. Mayor Jan Howell Marx.
Are you aware, Jan, that the population of San Luis Obispo has increased about 1% in the past 15 years, while its operational budget has grown by approximately 250%? You have been mayor, or on the city council, for many of those 15 years. Would you care to explain this situation?
It's not my fault. Mayor is a part-time gig for me. I bring home the real bacon grease working nights for Tom and Jim Copeland. I blame Settle and Romero.
Goodness, Jan, you are really something. Are you aware the city of San Luis Obispo has about 1 employee per 85 residents? Other comparable communities have 1 city employee for every 250 to 300 residents. Can you explain this disparity?
We want to be more like Beverly Hills. I hope you noticed the city manager we hired, Katie Lichtig, used to work in Beverly Hills. In fact, she still lives in Topanga Canyon and commutes up here a few days a week.
Yes, Jan, I have heard. That's a good example of the type of problem that now plagues San Luis Obispo. You were one of the people that voted to hire Lichtig at a total compensation of over $330,000 per year. How could you do that? Who in their right mind would support something like that?
I can do anything. I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx.
Pardon me? Never mind. You mentioned working for the Copelands. How could you serve on the San Luis Obispo City Council while working under the radar on the anti-DO campaign? Didn't you recognize a conflict of interest?
Who is going to do anything? I got slapped with a measly $3,000 fine. Do you have any idea how much the Copelands were paying me during that period?
So you have no ethics, Jen? You do whatever serves you the best.
Haven't I been saying that all along? I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx. Hear me roar.
Is that why you almost lost your last campaign to someone who had just begun a new job and had little time to campaign?
I almost got beat by Paul Brown because the Democratic Central Committee political machine was not giving me the support it had promised.
And you're not ashamed to admit that?
Without the Democratic Central Committee, my husband Stephen and I would be backpedaling maple syrup in our native Canada. Oh, Canada. I cannot wait to move back once my government pension is secure.
What have you truly done for the city of San Luis Obispo? What can you point to as something good that you drove to fruition?
Well, I was instrumental in crafting the city's garbage can ordinance.
Is that the best you can do? Is that why you wear the crown?
Yes, that's about the best I can do. I wear this crown because I think of myself as Princess Grace Kelly of Monaco. I am Queen Jan of Slowtown.
I just learned that you and Councilman John Ashbot tried to use your positions to do a little favor for former Mayor Peg Pinard.
Yeah, so? I can do anything I want. Given the voter apathy and slow, I am invulnerable. All I need to do is walk around City Hall, slurp Diet Coke, and do little favors that ultimately earn me big bucks.
Yes, but in this case you tried to ram through a policy that would keep an audible pedestrian crossing device from being installed at the corner of Broad and Bushon, adjacent to Pinard's house. Are you really putting little political favors ahead of the safety and well-being of our handicapped residents?
No one cares, Steve.
I care. Not only do our handicapped residents deserve better, you and Ashbaugh shouldn't be using your positions to do such ridiculous favors.
Peg Pinard has done a lot of favors for me. I owe her.
And you're willing to risk the safety and health of one of the most vulnerable segments of our population to do your little favors? Are you serious?
Did I mention that I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx?
You're unbelievable. Not only are you willing to put lives at risk, you're also opening up the city to a huge Americans with Disabilities Act lawsuit. Is it true that you even facilitated monkeying around with the curb at the corner of Broad and Bushon so that it is no longer handicapped accessible?
Is that such a bad thing? After all, I really do owe Peg.
Mrs. Marx, quite frankly, Your lack of decency makes me ill.
I don't care what my lack of decency does to you. It's all about me. I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx. Hear me roar.
I need to go. Good evening.
I need to go too. Tom and Jim are throwing me a party.
A party for what?
Didn't you hear me? I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx.
Oh dear God. Good night.